Intro, Haitrum tu Jonke Mai Gangui Didom Konep Long Tiengro Rang. Ever heard of a bird so beautiful? Ancient kings thought it was made of sunlight? Welcome to El Salvador, a tiny country bursting with wings brighter than fireworks. Here, every forest hums, every river glitters, and every tree seems to hide a creature that defies belief. From the emerald ghost of the resplendent quetzal, a bird once worshipped by Mayan gods, to the pink storm of roseate spoonbills and the tiny green kingfisher that dives faster than your Wi-Fi. This land is a festival of feathers. But here's the twist. These birds don't just look unreal, they act unreal too. Some use tools, some fake their calls, and one, yes, just one, can literally walk on water. So the question is, can you tell which ones are the tricksters and which ones are the true legends? Because over the next few minutes, we're diving beak first into birds of El Salvador. 20 colorful species you won't believe are real. And by the end, you might start doubting what real even means. All right, ready to chase the myth with wings? Let's begin. Ever seen a bird so dazzling, you'd swear someone turned on a light inside it? Meet the resplendent quetzal, the living emerald of Central America. It doesn't just shine, it glows like a gem that decided to grow feathers and fly. Ancient Mayan kings once believed this bird carried the soul of the sky. They used its feathers as symbols of power and freedom, but here's the kicker. They never killed it. They'd catch it, pluck one or two feathers, then let it go. Because killing a quetzal was believed to kill your spirit too. Pretty poetic for a bird that looks like it shops at the rainbow store, huh? Now picture this, a tail almost as long as its body, shimmering green and blue, floating through the mist like a slow-motion dream. But this beauty has stage fright. It hides deep inside cloud forests, where fog curls through mossy trees. Locals say, you don't see a quetzal. The quetzal allows you to see it, almost like it knows how good it looks. Fun fact, that long tail, the one everyone adores, is totally impractical. It slows the male down, makes flying awkward, and yet he keeps it. Because in bird world, beauty beats aerodynamics every time. Females love the drama, and he knows it. He's basically nature's peacock with better PR. Here's a mini twist. Despite all that glory, the quetzal is surprisingly fragile. It can't live in captivity. Every time people tried, it died of stress. So maybe it's not just beautiful, maybe it's freedom itself wearing feathers. Makes you think, right? Would you rather live a short life in the wild or a long one in a cage? The quetzal seems to have made its choice, and honestly, maybe that's why it still feels like a legend every time it appears. It doesn't belong to the forest, it is the forest. So next time you see that flash of green disappearing into the mist, ask yourself, did you really see a bird? Or did the spirit of the jungle just wink at you? What if tuxedos could fly? That's pretty much the black-headed trogon, dressed like it's heading to a red carpet premiere in the middle of a rainforest. Glossy black head, sunshine yellow belly, and a tail that looks airbrushed by a perfectionist. Yeah, this bird's got style. But here's the fun part. The trogon doesn't really do much. It just sits there, motionless, pretending it's invisible. Kind of like that one coworker who blends in when there's work to do. Except it works. Predators fly right past it. You can walk through a forest full of them and never notice a single one until you hear that lazy coo, 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 like it's sighing at how fabulous it is. Now, why the black head? Scientists say it helps with camouflage, absorbs light, breaks the outline. But I've got a theory, it's just contrast marketing. That bold yellow chest pops even harder against the dark head, like nature's own highlighter pen. Here's a wild twist. This bird doesn't build its own home, it squats. Yep, the trogon moves into abandoned woodpecker holes. Zero rent, zero labor. I mean, who wouldn't want a move-in-ready tree loft with a view? Sometimes evolution rewards laziness with real estate. They live in pairs, often monogamous, and feed mostly on fruit, which makes them the rainforest's accidental gardeners. Every time they poop, they're basically planting tomorrow's forest. So technically, this fashionable freeloader is also an eco-hero. But let's get honest. If a bird spends half its life napping, wears a suit sharper than James Bond, and gets free housing, would you call it lazy or just efficient? That's the real debate here. Some people hustle, others perch and let gravity do the work, and somehow the trogon thrives. So next time you see that flash of yellow among the trees, remember, not everyone who looks like they're chilling is wasting time. Some are just living smart. Ever seen a bird that looks like it escaped from a painting and brought the paintbrush with it? Meet the turquoise-browed motmot, the national bird of El Salvador, and probably the only creature that can make a forest look underdressed. Its head glows turquoise, its back flashes green, and its tail, that's not just a tail, it's a pendulum. Two perfect feathers, bare in the middle, ending in blue paddles that swing like jewelry when it perches. Locals call it toragaz, but I like to call it the bird that invented fashion before Paris even existed. Now here's the kicker. It uses that tail like a signal lamp. When danger's near, it sways side to side, almost hypnotic. It's not scared. It's saying, yeah, I see you. Don't even try a bird that warns predators by dancing. That's pure confidence. You'll find them sitting on fences, branches, even power lines. Never in a hurry. They're the philosophers of the forest. They just sit, think, and occasionally snatch a passing insect like a ninja. Minimal effort, maximum results. Fun fact, scientists once thought those fancy tails evolved just for beauty, but now they think it's also communication, a secret language of wobbles and waves. Males flirt by swinging their tails in rhythm. Females judge by how smooth the move is. So yeah, even in the bird world, good rhythm still matters. But here's a thought. Why would a bird that bright choose not to hide? Why show off when camouflage could save your life? Maybe the motmot's saying something about courage, that beauty isn't about blending in, it's about daring to be seen. Every time that tail sways under the sunlight, it feels less like a warning and more like a wink from the wild, a reminder that sometimes confidence is survival. So tell me, if you had colors like that, would you hide in the trees or show the whole jungle who you are? Ever heard a drum solo echo through the jungle and realized it wasn't a drummer but a bird? That's the pale-billed woodpecker, the percussionist of Central America's forests. This bird doesn't sing, it performs. You'll hear that rat-a-tat-tat miles away before you ever see it. It's got a red crest that looks like it's permanently plugged into a wall socket, a long ivory bill like a chisel, and an attitude that says, "This tree?" Now here's the funny thing. That beak isn't for decoration. It's a demolition tool. Each strike hits with the force of a small hammer, about 20 times a second. And yet, no headaches, no concussions. Their skull acts like a built-in shock absorber. Basically, nature's helmet tech long before humans figured it out. But here's what really blows my mind. They don't just hammer randomly. They have rhythm. Each male has a signature beat, a pattern that tells rivals, "Back off, this is my gig." It's bird music, territorial rock and roll. And get this, when they're nesting, both parents take turns digging deep into dead trees, carving out a perfect round home. They'll raise their chicks inside that drum cavity, safe and echoing with the sound of life. Imagine being born in a house that vibrates with music every morning. Now, some folks say the pale-billed looks like its famous cousin, the ivory-billed woodpecker, the holy grail bird of North America, thought to be extinct. And every few years, someone swears they saw it. But it's usually our guy here, alive, loud, and proud. Maybe that's the twist. The legend never really died. It just moved south and kept on drumming. So let me ask you this. If you could carve your own rhythm into the world, loud enough for others to hear, would you? Because the pale-billed woodpecker sure does. Every hammer strike is its way of saying, "I'm here, I belong, and I make noise." Ever seen a bird so pink it makes flamingos look underdressed? That's the roseate spoonbill. Part ballerina, part alien, and totally unforgettable. It's like someone spilled a can of strawberry paint, and nature just said, yeah, keep it. Those bubblegum feathers aren't from genetics. They're diet-made couture. They eat shrimp and tiny crustaceans packed with carotenoid pigments, the same stuff that makes carrots orange. Except in the spoonbill's world, orange becomes runway pink. So in a way, this bird literally eats its way to fabulous. And that spoon-shaped bill, it's not just a weird fashion statement, it's a perfect feeding machine. They sweep it side to side through shallow water, feeling for fish, frogs, and insects, like a living metal detector that beeps in swoosh language. Here's the twist. When they feed together, they move in slow, synchronized lines, heads bobbing, bills swishing, looking like a team of dancers rehearsing choreography. Honestly, if birds had TikTok, these guys would dominate the algorithm. But life in pink isn't always easy. That color, while stunning, makes them stand out, and predators notice. So they rely on numbers. Flocks of 50, 100, a sea of pink rising above the mangroves when startled. It's chaos, but it's beautiful chaos. And you know what's wild? They almost disappeared from the Gulf and Caribbean in the 1800s, hunted for their feathers, used in ladies' hats. Humans nearly erased one of nature's boldest artists, but they bounced back, slowly, stubbornly, like beauty itself refusing to be forgotten. So here's a question for you. If you stood out that much in a world built to make you blend in, would you dull your colors or fly brighter? Because the spoonbill chose the second option, and thank goodness it did. Some birds whisper elegance. The roseate spoonbill shouts it, one pink feather at a time. If the roseate spoonbill is a flamboyant dancer, then the great egret is pure elegance. The Audrey Hepburn of the wetlands, tall, white, impossibly graceful. This bird doesn't walk, it glides. Every move feels choreographed, like it's been rehearsing calmness for centuries. One moment it's frozen still, the next, snap. That long yellow bill strikes lightning fast, and a fish vanishes before your brain can process what just happened. You ever wonder how something can look so peaceful and be such a killer? That's the egret paradox. It hunts in silence, stalking shallows with eyes sharper than any sniper's scope. No splashes, no noise. Just that neck, coiling like a spring until it explodes with precision. It's poetry with feathers in a rearmount, in just a hint of menace. Now here's a piece of trivia that might sting a little. These birds were once nearly wiped out because of fashion. Back in the 19th century, their long white plumes were worth more than gold. Women's hats, high society, elegance, all built on slaughter. In some colonies, over 90% were gone. But here's where the story turns. People finally said, enough. That outrage sparked one of the first major conservation movements in America. The great egret became the face of protection and the symbol of the Audubon Society itself. From hunted to hero, not bad for a bird that just wanted to fish in peace. These days, when it spreads those enormous white wings against the sunset, you get this quiet sense of survival. It doesn't boast, it doesn't flash colors, it simply endures. Maybe there's a lesson there. Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, and grace can be the loudest kind of strength. So tell me, if beauty almost destroyed you once, would you hide it forever or wear it proudly again? The great egret chose the second, and every time it rises over the golden marsh, you can't help but think, that's what redemption looks like in feathers. Blink, and you'll miss it. That flash of green darting over the river, that's no leaf. It's the green kingfisher, a tiny missile wrapped in emerald armor. This bird is small, barely the size of your hand, but it hunts like it's got something to prove. Perched on a low branch, eyes locked on the water below, it waits, perfectly still, until splash. One dive, one strike, one unlucky fish gone in a blink. No hesitation, no second chances. Now here's a fun thought. The kingfisher doesn't see the world like we do. Its eyes adjust for refraction, meaning it can see through the water, calculating the exact angle to hit its target. Basically, it's got built-in physics software. Try doing that without missing dinner. And despite being so small, it's got a voice that echoes through the riverbanks. A sharp metallic tick, 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 like nature's camera shutter. If you hear that sound near a quiet creek, chances are you're in the kingfisher's territory. Or, as it would call it, my fishing spot. Move along. Here's the mini twist. This bird doesn't build fancy nests in trees. Nope, it digs tunnels. Yeah, tunnels. Little burrows into riverbanks, sometimes over a meter deep, ending in a round chamber where it lays eggs. Tiny bird, power drill energy. What's even wilder? Both parents share the work. Digging, fishing, feeding, a full-time family hustle and feathers. Who says teamwork isn't natural? So the next time you're by a quiet stream and you see a green streak vanish into the water, remember that's not luck, that's skill, precision, practice. Makes you wonder, how much power can fit inside something so small? Because the green kingfisher doesn't roar or strut, it just acts. And in the end, maybe that's the best kind of confidence. Quiet, focused, and impossible to ignore. If the green kingfisher is the river's little sniper, then the osprey is its full-blown fighter jet. This bird doesn't fish, it invades. Wings stretched nearly 6 feet across, eyes locked on the shimmer below. Then, boom, dive bomb from the sky at 60 miles per hour. Talons out, water explodes, and a second later, it's airborne again, with a fish twisting helplessly in its grip. It's nature's perfect angler. No rod, no bait, just precision and power. But here's what most people don't know. The osprey's claws are reversible. Yeah, one toe flips backward so it can grip slippery fish from both sides. Basically, it's got the avian version of Velcro hands. And that's not all. It always carries fish head first to reduce drag while flying. Because of course it does. It's aerodynamic even at lunch. Show off. Now here's the fun twist. Ospreys are found almost everywhere. From Alaska to Australia, Sweden to El Salvador. They're the ultimate global citizens, flying thousands of miles each year, crossing oceans and continents like it's no big deal. But their story wasn't always smooth flight. In the mid-1900s, pesticide pollution nearly wiped them out. Their eggshells thinned, nests failed, numbers crashed. Then humans finally cleaned up their act, and the osprey soared back, turning into one of conservation's greatest comeback stories. Think about that. A bird that literally dives headfirst into the unknown and still comes back stronger. Maybe there's a lesson there. And when you watch one circle over a lake, wings catching sunlight like polished bronze, you can almost hear the question it throws at the sky. How far would you go for what feeds you? The osprey already knows the answer. It dives for it every single time. Okay, picture this. A bird casually walking on water. No miracle. Just the northern jacana doing its thing. Those ridiculously long toes? They're not for show. They spread its weight across lily pads like a natural pair of snowshoes, turning the impossible into just another Tuesday stroll. That's why locals call it the Jesus bird. And honestly, can you blame them? But here's the twist. While it looks like a gentle wetland wanderer, the jacana's personal life is pure reality TV. The females are bigger, bossier, and they run the show. One queen may command up to 4 males at once, each tending her eggs in separate nests while she struts around supervising. So yeah, role reversal, bird edition. In the jacana world, moms are the managers. Still, those guys take their jobs seriously. They guard eggs under blazing heat, and when danger comes, they don't fight. They hide the babies under their wings and run across the pond with legs dangling out like noodles. It's both heroic and hilarious. And when you really look at them, they're stunning. Chocolate brown wings, lemon yellow shields on the face, long legs moving like they're dancing across a dream. Every step a little defiance of gravity. Here's a fun fact. They feed on insects and snails living between floating leaves, and they're so light they barely make a ripple. Imagine living your whole life above water without ever needing to swim. That's efficiency or laziness, depending how you see it. So here's my question. If you could walk on water, would you use it to explore the world or just flex on everyone watching? Because the northern jacana doesn't choose. It does both. It's a walking contradiction, delicate but dominant, beautiful but bossy, and always just one step away from sinking, but never does. Maybe that's the secret. Real balance isn't about staying still, it's about daring to dance where others would drown. Ever met a bird that's so sneaky, most locals have heard it, but almost nobody's seen it? That's the mangrove cuckoo, the ghost of the coastal forests. If the jungle had a secret agent, this would be the one with the untraceable call sign. You'll find it deep in tangled mangroves where roots twist like sculptures and the air smells like salt and mystery. 1 minute, silence. Then, cop, cop, a strange echoing call that sounds like a voice lost in the mist. By the time you look up, gone. Classic cuckoo move. Now here's what makes it extra shady. It's part of the same notorious family known for parental outsourcing. Some cuckoos lay eggs in other birds' nests and let strangers raise their chicks. Talk about delegation skills. But this one, the mangrove cuckoo, actually breaks the stereotype. It builds its own nest. No freeloading. It's like the one family member at Thanksgiving who actually brought a dish. It feeds on big insects, frogs, even small lizards. Anything it can snatch in the mangrove maze. It moves with slow, deliberate grace, like a cat that knows it owns the shadows. And with that black mask across its eyes, it really does look like it's planning a heist. Here's the twist. This bird's range stretches from Florida down through the Caribbean into El Salvador, but its numbers are falling fast. Habitat loss, rising seas, shrinking mangroves. The places where it hides are disappearing. So maybe it's not just secretive, maybe it's vanishing. And that brings us to the question, when a bird is this good at staying unseen, how do we even know when it's gone? Do we wait for silence, or do we start listening harder now? The mangrove cuckoo doesn't want fame, doesn't want your attention. It just wants a quiet world to disappear into. But every cop echoing through the coastal fog is its way of saying, I'm still here. Don't forget the hidden ones. If the rainforest had a comedian, it would be this guy, the great kiskadee, loud, bold, and absolutely unapologetic about it. You'll hear it before you see it. Kiskadee. Kiskd. A call so sharp and cheerful it could wake the dead. Or at least your morning coffee. It's basically the neighborhood rooster of the tropics, except it never stops talking. This bird doesn't do subtle. Bright yellow belly, chestnut wings, black and white mask. Like it's dressed for a superhero audition. But instead of fighting crime, it picks fights with everyone. Hawks? It'll dive bomb them. Snakes? It shouts until they leave. Humans? It'll scold you just for walking by. Somewhere between brave and reckless. And that's exactly why people love it. Now here's the twist. The kiskadee is what scientists call an opportunist, meaning it eats, well, everything. Fruit, frogs, insects, even your pet's kibble if you leave it out too long. You can find it perched on power lines, snatching bugs in midair, or wading into ponds to grab tiny fish. Yeah, it's basically a bird with no food anxiety. And while most birds worry about camouflage, the kiskadee does the opposite. It announces itself. Every call says, I'm here, deal with it. Confidence level, sky high. Fun fact, they're great parents too. Both mom and dad guard the nest like little feathered bodyguards, taking turns feeding the chicks and dive bombing anything that gets too close. If loyalty had wings, it'd sound a lot like Kiskadee. But think about this for a second. We often celebrate quiet, graceful birds. And here comes one that wins hearts just by being loud. So, does charisma beat calm? Maybe, because this noisy yellow fireball proves that sometimes you don't need to blend in. You just need to own your noise. The great kiskadee isn't trying to impress you. It's too busy being itself. And honestly, maybe that's the bravest song of all. After the wild energy of the kiskadee, let's slow things down. Take a breath, because the blue-gray tanager is basically the calm after the tropical storm. This bird doesn't shout for attention, it just glows. Soft powder blue wings, silvery gray body, a calm presence in a noisy world. It's the kind of bird you notice only when you stop scrolling through your thoughts, and then suddenly you can't look away. You'll usually see them in pairs. Two flashes of pastel blue fluttering between trees, feeding on papayas, bananas, or whatever fruit's ripe that morning. They're gentle eaters, not fighters. If the rainforest had neighbors, these would be the ones who water your plants when you're out of town. But don't mistake calm for boring. Here's a fun fact. Blue-gray tanagers are secretly great singers. Not loud, but melodic. They hum and chirp in duets, like tiny love songs echoing from treetops. It's not performance, it's partnership. They stay together for years, sharing nests, taking turns bringing food to their chicks. Romantic, right? Bird goals. And here's the twist. While they look peaceful, they're actually urban adapters. They live just as happily in backyards and city parks as in forests. You'll see them near cafes, rooftops, power lines, turning concrete jungles into sky-colored galleries. It's like they quietly said, if humans won't protect nature, we'll just move in with them. There's something poetic about that. A bird that doesn't need to fight for space, just coexists beautifully wherever it lands. Makes you wonder, in a world full of noise, is the real strength in being loud or being peaceful enough to stay visible? The blue-gray tanager seems to have figured it out. It doesn't dominate the forest, it decorates it. And every time it takes flight under morning light, you can almost hear it whisper, "Hey, calm can be beautiful too." You ever hear a voice so sweet you stop mid-step, look around and think, wait, who's singing that? That's the yellow-throated euphonia, a bird so small it shouldn't sound that good, and yet it does. This little jewel is nature's surprise performer, wearing a tuxedo of midnight blue with a golden throat that catches sunlight like it's been dipped in honey. The name euphonia literally means beautiful voice, and wow, it earns it. You'll find them in pairs, perched high on fruiting trees, singing back and forth like an old couple finishing each other's sentences. Their duets aren't loud, but they're perfectly timed, like two jazz musicians riffing on a private melody. Here's the first fun fact. Unlike many songbirds, it's usually the male and female who sing together. They harmonize to mark territory, strengthen bonds, and honestly, maybe just because they like the sound of each other's voice. Can't blame them. But here's the twist. Their diet's not all sweetness. Sure, they love berries and figs, but they've been caught eating mistletoe berries, which are mildly toxic to most animals. The euphonia? Totally fine. It actually helps spread the mistletoe seeds, turning poison into partnership. Talk about turning problems into opportunities. And here's something deeper. Their nests are hidden spheres of moss and fibers, so well camouflaged that even scientists struggle to find them. It's like they understand that beauty doesn't always need an audience. So maybe the yellow-throated euphonia isn't just a singer, it's a symbol, a reminder that elegance doesn't have to shout and harmony can still thrive quietly in a loud world. Let me ask you, if your voice could calm a forest, would you sing louder or softer? Because the euphonia doesn't raise its volume, it raises its vibe. And sometimes that's enough to be heard everywhere. If the yellow-throated euphonia was the pop star of the canopy, then meet its quieter, moodier cousin, the olive-backed euphonia. Think of it as the indie musician who doesn't chase the spotlight, but somehow everyone still ends up listening. This tiny bird wears muted tones, soft olive green on its back, deep violet blue on its crown, and a subtle golden glow across the chest, like sunlight brushed over moss. It's not here to dazzle, it's here to soothe. You'll find it deep in humid forests, flitting between branches with a soft sip-sip, usually in pairs or family groups. They're not attention seekers. They're connectors, moving quietly from tree to tree, turning silence into music you almost miss, until it's gone. Here's a cool fact. Despite being small, these birds are major players in forest regeneration. They eat wild fruits whole, then scatter seeds across the understory as they travel. In a way, every flutter of their wings helps plant the next generation of trees. Small body, big legacy. Now here's the twist. Unlike their brighter relatives, the olive-backed euphonia avoids open spaces and sunlight. They prefer the dim green glow under the canopy, a world of shade, mist, and soft echoes. It's not fear, it's choice. They've mastered the art of thriving unseen. And maybe that's why birdwatchers treat spotting one like finding a secret. It's not about luck, it's about listening differently. You don't find the olive-backed, it finds you when you finally get quiet enough. Makes you think, doesn't it? In a world obsessed with visibility, how powerful is it to be valuable without needing to be seen? The olive-backed euphonia doesn't crave applause. It just keeps doing what it does, spreading seeds, softening mornings, and reminding us that sometimes the gentlest songs are the ones that keep the forest alive. Ever meet someone small, chatty, and everywhere at once? That's the rufous-capped warbler, the tiny troublemaker of the forest. It's not fancy, no flashy colors, no grand entrance. Just a lemon-yellow chest, olive back, and that fiery red cap that makes it look like it's wearing a permanent thinking hat. And trust me, this bird never stops thinking. You'll hear it long before you see it. A quick, bubbling song echoing through the bushes like it's narrating its own life story. Chip, 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 chee, chee, chee. Always curious, always investigating, never still for more than 2 seconds. You know those people who can't sit still at a party because they need to know what everyone's up to? Yeah, that's the rufous-capped warbler. It hops through leaves, flips twigs, peeks under branches, a feathered detective with serious attention issues. Fun fact, unlike most warblers that migrate north and south, this one's a homebody. It stays in Central America year-round, defending its patch of forest like a tiny landlord. Mates for life, builds tidy little nests near the ground, and raises its chicks with absolute devotion. So yeah, noisy, nosy, but loyal. And here's a twist you won't expect. Scientists discovered that these birds learn and remix their songs depending on the neighborhood. Kind of like how accents change from city to city. So, a rufous-capped in El Salvador doesn't sound quite the same as one in Mexico or Costa Rica. It's bird dialects, tiny local languages sung in sunlight. Makes you wonder, if even birds adapt their voices to where they live, how much of our voice comes from the place we call home? This warbler doesn't soar above mountains or rule the skies. It lives close to the earth, chatty, grounded, endlessly curious. And maybe that's its superpower. Because while the flashy birds steal the headlines, the rufous-capped warbler keeps the forest alive with conversation. It's proof that sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest personality. Every country has that one voice that feels like home. For El Salvador, it just might be the clay-colored thrush. No wild colors, no flashy feathers, just soft brown plumage. Humble, simple, like warm coffee on a cloudy morning. You'd never guess this bird is the national symbol of neighboring Costa Rica until you hear it sing. That song, a flute-like melody that floats through gardens and mango trees, is pure nostalgia. People describe it as the sound of rain coming because it often sings right before the first drops of the wet season. Imagine that. A bird that can predict the weather better than your phone. And it's not shy about performing. Dawn chorus, it's the lead singer. Rainy afternoons, still singing. Thunder rolling in. Doesn't care, like keeps going. It's the kind of voice that turns silence into serenity. Here's a fun fact. Scientists say the clay-colored thrush's brain is wired for music. It can remember complex song patterns and even improvise new variations. In other words, it doesn't just repeat, it composes. That's right. You're listening to a feathered songwriter. But here's the twist. This bird thrives where others flee. Forests, cities, farms. It adapts to them all. While flashier species struggle to survive in human landscapes, the thrush just shrugs and starts singing beside your window. It's not fragile, it's flexible, and maybe that's why people feel such affection for it. It's not a rare gem, it's a familiar friend. The voice that wakes you up, that soft reminder. Life goes on. Seasons change. Keep singing. So here's a thought. In a world obsessed with standing out, maybe true beauty is in the ordinary. The kind that stays with you long after the noise fades. Because when the clay-colored thrush sings, it doesn't demand applause. It just fills the air, and somehow fills you too. You ever see a bird so red it makes roses jealous? That's the summer tanager, a flying flame that somehow manages to look both fierce and peaceful at the same time. Males are pure crimson from beak to tail. No stripes, no patterns, just an unbroken blaze of red. Females, soft yellow-green, like sunlight through leaves. Together, they look like summer and spring having a slow dance in the treetops. You'll find them perched high, motionless, listening for the faint buzz of their favorite snack. Wasps. Yeah, you heard that right. This pretty little bird hunts wasps. It swoops down, snatches them mid-air, then rubs the stinger off against a branch before swallowing. Tell me that's not hardcore. So while other birds chase butterflies, the summer tanager's out here raiding beehives. Bright, beautiful, fearless. It's basically the action hero of the canopy. But here's the fun fact. It's the only completely red bird in North America. And every year it migrates thousands of miles from the southern US down to Central America, trading oaks and maples for palm trees and mangoes. That long journey is its rhythm, a pulse between two worlds. And here's the twist. Despite all that brilliance, it sings one of the gentlest songs you'll ever hear. A series of sweet, lazy whistles that sound like it's whistling to itself on a warm afternoon. No urgency, no drama, just joy. Like it knows that being striking and being soft aren't opposites at all. So what's the message here? Maybe it's that true confidence isn't loud. It's quiet power wrapped in color. The summer tanager doesn't need to prove anything. It just exists, burning bright against the green, reminding the forest, and maybe all of us, that courage can look calm and beauty doesn't have to whisper. So next time you spot that flash of red in the canopy, don't blink. You're watching summer itself take flight. Ever heard a bird that sounds like it's laughing at you from inside a bush? That's the barred antshrike, a striped little enigma with a sense of humor and a love for drama. You'll rarely see it, but you'll definitely hear it. That unmistakable cha-cha-cha-cha builds into a rising cackle, like someone snickering from the shadows. And just when you try to find it, it hops to the next branch and does it again. This bird plays hide and seek professionally. The male's dressed in black and white bars like a convict that escaped from a fashion show. The female, warm cinnamon orange with the same mischievous eyes. They look different but act in perfect sync. A jungle couple that always moves as one. Now here's the fun part. The barred antshrike has a habit of following army ants, but not to eat them. Oh no, it's smarter than that. It waits for the ants to flush out insects from the leaf litter, then swoops in for the easy pickings. Why do the dirty work when nature's army is already marching? Work smarter, not harder, right? And there's more. These birds are territorial storytellers. They duet, male and female, calling back and forth to mark their space and strengthen their bond. Their rhythm is tight, their teamwork impeccable. It's part love song, part neighborhood warning. Here's the twist. For all its cleverness and mystery, the barred antshrike is surprisingly domestic. It builds a neat little cup nest, and both parents take turns guarding and feeding the chicks. A family bird with a villain laugh. Makes you wonder, how can something sound so sinister and still be so wholesome? Maybe that's its charm, a reminder that even in the wild, the weirdest voices often come from the kindest hearts. So next time you hear giggling in the undergrowth, don't panic. It's not a ghost. It's just the barred antshrike, laughing at how long it took you to look down. You know that one neighbor who's always gossiping at the fence, rolling deep with family and never quiet for long? That's the groove-billed Ani. If birds had soap operas, this one would star in all of them. At first glance, it looks like a crow's quirky cousin. Sleek black feathers with a blue sheen, and that huge ridged bill that looks like someone designed it in a hurry. It's not elegant, it's expressive. You can almost read its face. That oversized beak gives it a permanent, really look. These birds live in groups, not just pairs or families, but clans. 6, 8, sometimes 10 anis all hanging out, hopping across pastures, chattering nonstop like they're running a group podcast. They preen each other, share food, and even share nests. Yeah, communal nesting. Everyone lays eggs in the same giant pile, then takes turns incubating and feeding the babies. It's noisy, chaotic, but somehow it works. Here's the fun twist. Not all the eggs make it. When too many females lay at once, some quietly remove others' eggs to make room for their own. It's like a feathery version of Survivor Nest Edition. Drama, always, but also cooperation. They raise the surviving chicks together, because in the Annie world, chaos still ends in teamwork. You'll often see them perched on cattlebacks, snatching flies or grasshoppers kicked up by hooves. They don't mind humans much. Actually, they seem entertained by us. If you watch long enough, you'll swear one's side-eyeing you. And here's something deeper. For all their noise and mischief, anis are gentle. They share warmth at night by roosting shoulder to shoulder, a feathery blanket of black against the dusk. So here's the question. Is it better to go it alone or thrive in the noise of community? The groove-billed Annie already knows the answer. It doesn't just live together, it laughs together. Because in its world, survival isn't a solo act, it's a chorus. If the forest had a morning alarm clock that never runs out of batteries, it would be the speckled chachalaca. Seriously, these birds are loud. Not kind of loud. Neighborhood dispute loud. They don't sing, they shout. Chachala, chachala, echoing through the dawn like a feathered marching band warming up. And the best part? They do it in groups. 10, 15 birds all yelling at once. A jungle family reunion before sunrise. They're about the size of a small chicken, brown feathers with white speckles, long tail, alert eyes, and more attitude than elegance. They're not the glamorous ones of the canopy. They're the extroverts, the storytellers, the town criers. Here's the fun part. Chachalacas live in social flocks, moving noisily from tree to tree, feeding on fruits, leaves, and the occasional flower. Wherever they go, peace and quiet take a day off. But that racket, it's not just chaos, it's coordination. Those calls keep the group connected through thick forest cover. It's how they say, hey, we're still together. Keep up. And here's a twist most people don't know. They're actually related to turkeys and guans. Yeah, imagine a turkey that went to the jungle, learned to climb trees, and decided it had something important to say. Forever. When danger comes, they don't flee silently. They explode into noise. Alarm calls so intense that even predators give up out of pure annoyance. Sometimes volume is a defense mechanism. But look closer, and you'll see they're more than noise. They're tight-knit, fiercely loyal, and when the sun hits those speckled feathers, there's a subtle bronze glow that most people miss in the chaos. Kind of poetic. Beauty hiding inside boldness. So here's the question. If the world only noticed you when you were loud, would you still speak softly or crank up the volume? The chachalaca made its choice ages ago, and every dawn when it wakes the forest, it's not just making noise, it's making sure no one forgets it's alive. So, after 20 voices, 20 colors, and 20 personalities, what did we really discover about El Salvador's wild wings? That beauty here doesn't just live in the obvious. It hides in laughter, in quiet songs, in a bird walking on water, or shouting from the treetops. Every chirp, every flash of color, is a tiny act of defiance against silence. From the sacred glow of the quetzal, to the fearless dive of the osprey, to the noisy joy of the chachalaca. These birds remind us that nature doesn't whisper, it speaks in every possible language. And maybe that's the real magic of El Salvador, a land where even the smallest feather carries a story, a song, and a spark of survival. So tell me, which bird stole your heart today? The dancer, the dreamer, or the loudmouth? Drop your pick in the comments, because the jungle's listening, and so am I. Until next time, keep your eyes up and your wonder wide open, because somewhere out there, another miracle with wings is waiting to be seen.